see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and a giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get
Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Photoshop tutorial where today I'm going to be showing you how to make this one on screen now. I'll leave the links as always down in the description below, so go ahead and download those and come back once you're ready. And yeah, with all that said, we will dive straight in. So, first things first, you want to open up a blank canvas, choose it any size you want. I'm going to go for a landscape, and then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab the images and you want to click and drag them onto the canvas like so, and once they're in, just hit enter. And then same for the other one. Just have them both in for now, and then just turn one of them off. And now, as always, the most fun part of every tutorial, you've got to mask these guys out, unfortunately. So we're going to start off with the portrait image. What you want to do is we're going to come over to this layer and we're going to click on it. And we're going to right click and come down to rasterize layer. Then what we want to do is we actually want to remove that background from him. So what you can do is just double click on that layer. And just in the blend if option, you can just drag this right slider down a little bit. You can see it's just removed all of the background behind him. Obviously, because it's a plain background, this works. But if you've got your own images that you're using, they're a bit more complicated that have a proper background. You're going to have to mask them out using the pen tool or quick selection tool. But I'll show you how to do that with the tiger in a second. So once you've done that, just hit OK. And the next step we want to do is we want to bring back the hoodie here, because you can see in the original photo it's kind of cropped out. So what we can do for that is we can actually come over to the lasso tool, and with that layer selected, you're just going to click on the inside of the jumper and drag down, and just imagine what the hoodie would look like, you know, if it was there. Something like that, that'll do. And you want to come back inside the hoodie like so, and then just come back to the line that you started with. That'll do. And then once you've done that, we're going to come up to edit and content aware fill, not fill, content aware fill. Click on that one, and then what you want to do is you can see the green area here is actually what it's using to sample it. So what you want to do is just click and drag the areas that you don't want it to include. So for instance here, you don't want any of his face to be included in that sample, not the top of the hoodie here, just like that. And there's a little sample on the right that you can see of what it will look like once it's done. So just going to keep fiddling with it. Obviously take your time with it just so it looks really nice. There we go. So I'm pretty happy with that now. So once you're happy with yours, just go ahead and click apply and then hit OK. There we go. So that's all done. That's filled that in. It looks pretty good to me. So just hit Command or Control D on the keyboard. Right, so now we want to mask out the tiger. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn off these other layers for now. Turn the tiger back on again. Select that layer, and you're going to go ahead and grab the pen tool. And obviously, if you know how to use the pen tool, crack on with this. If you don't know, follow along with me. So the idea of it is basically just keep clicking around the tiger, and you can be fancy with it, and you can actually click and hold, and that will bend the line, and that will just obviously give you a nice smooth selection. So you're going to do that all the way around the subject, and I'm pressing Alt on the middle one there just to stop the curvature from continuing at certain points. So yeah, again up here, when you get to the whiskers, avoid those, we'll bring those back later. So you're just going to come around the nose only, and you're going to come all the way around. I'm going to speed this next bit up, but you get the general idea of it. Okay, and once you've joined up all of the points, what you're going to do is you're going to right click in the middle, and you're going to click make selection, and then you're going to hit OK. And now what we want to do is, with that layer selected, come to the quick selection tool. You're going to click on select and mask. There we go. And you're just going to grab the refine edge brush tool, and you're just going to paint in these whiskers again. So just paint where you remember they were, all up here. Don't worry about all of that other stuff coming in. I'm going to paint all of that in, just like so. Really make sure you get them all in. Doesn't matter about all of this other stuff coming back in. And again, it was just down here you want to bring back in the fur. So if you didn't select that, what you can do is you can just come along the edge and bring all of that back in again. Obviously take your time with this. make sure you get a nice selection after it. And along the edge here. Something like that. Yeah, okay. And then you come to the right hand side and you want to bring up that contrast. And you just want to make sure that edge is not so rough. There we go. Don't worry about these extra bits. We'll bring those back in a second. And the feather, I'm just going to change to 1 pixel just to be safe. And then come back down to the output. So we're going to change that to layer mask and then hit OK. There we go. And then with the layer mask selected, you're going to grab the brush tool and make sure white is your foreground color. You have a soft round brush selected. And then you can just zoom in and you can actually just paint back bits that you want. Making sure your opacity is 100%. And yeah, so just come down here, and if your selection isn't great, like mine's pretty bad right now, just paint back in little areas that you want to bring back and give that just you know, a softer edge. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. You're not going to really see it too much at the end anyway. So yeah, once you're happy, we're going to right click and we're going to change that to a smart object. There we go. And then we're going to scale that up, hitting Command or Control T on the keyboard, holding Alt and then pulling from one corner. Just put that in the middle. Something like that. Hit enter and turn that tiger off for now. And we're going to turn these other 2 layers back on again. And because they're on separate layers, we're going to right click on that top one and just come to merge down. Click on that. And now we're going to Command or Control T on that layer, and we're just going to right click and flip horizontal, just like so. Bring that tiger back, and we're just going to scale that tiger up so it's fairly similar to the actual portrait image there. Something like that. Again, tinker with it, play around until you get it how you want it. There we go, and now we can start colouring these guys in. So with the portrait image is what I'm going to start with. We're going to come to the adjustments. We're going to grab a levels, and we're going to make sure that's clipped. And we're going to come up to the drop down menu and select midtones darker. Just give it a bit more contrast, and then we're going to come down to adjustments again. We're going to select solid colour this time, and we're going to grab a blue. We want a relatively light blue. Something along those lines, and we're going to right click, create clipping mask, change its blending mode to multiply. There we go. And now we can work on the tiger, so bring that tiger back. We're going to come to adjustments, levels again, same thing, midtones darker, making sure it's clipped. And then again we're going to grab another adjustment, solid color, and we want a red this time. And we're going to right click, create clipping mask. You get the idea now. And in the blending mode, we're going to change to multiply. Okay, and once you've done that, we're going to come down to adjustments, and we're going to grab solid color again, and we're going to choose black. We're just going to use that as the background. So drag that down to the bottom. There you go. And we're going to come to the tiger this time, and we're going to change this blending mode to screen. Perfect. So you can see it coming together now. There's a few extra bits that we need to do to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another adjustments layer for the tiger. We're going to come to brightness and contrast, and we're just going to slide that contrast all the way up, and then we're going to drag that brightness down a little bit, and then actually do the same to the portrait image, I reckon. Again, always making sure they're clipped to the layers that you want them to affect. So again, bringing the contrast up, bring the brightness down a little bit. There we go, and we're almost done. So I think the last layer, what we're going to get, we're going to grab another adjustment layer, solid color, and this time we're going to choose a navy blue or quite a dark blue, something like that. And we're going to change its blending mode to lighten. There we go. So you can leave it at that, but I want to make that just a little bit darker actually. So I'm going to grab another adjustment layer, and I'm going to come to levels, and just going to use the drop down menu for a bit of speed. Increase contrast 1. I think that looks pretty good. Actually, what about contrast 2? That's a bit too dark. I'll stick with contrast 1. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then if you want to go a bit mad after that, or you don't like the colours, what you can actually do is select just below the levels, and you're going to grab a hue and saturation, and then you can actually play with the hue slider, and you can actually go mad with whatever colour you want. So you could go for a blue and pink, or green and purple, whatever you wish. I'm going to stick with what we had. But yeah, so obviously you can do more to this if you want, but that's the basic premise of it. And yeah, so use your own images, experiment for yourself. As I said before, you can download these images down in the description below if you want to follow along with this. And yeah, hopefully that helped out a little bit, and I will see you in the next video.